We thought Indy was fast at 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Watkins Glen said
Watkins Glen was faster.
This.
What is the fastest race since 1967?
In the modern era. An hour and 58 minutes and 41 seconds.
You know, everybody loves this Drive to Succeed, an F1 story. Oh, F1's great now. Well, you just watched 2 F1 races. One caution and a race in 2 hours.
No thanks.
I tell you, Chris,
No thanks.
You know that I'm a baseball.
Yeah.
I love all sports. I'm a baseball fan. Neither racing nor baseball has a clock. You go on a length of time, not by clock. It's a distance is a better way to put it. 9 innings is a distance. 200 miles is a distance, whatever it happens to be. When I go to a baseball game, unless it's rain shortened, I'm guaranteed that I will see 9 innings, 8.5 or 9 innings of play. That's a complete game. I've seen games that took 2 hours and 1 minute. I've seen games that took 4.5 hours. That's the way it is. You are not guaranteed when you go to a NASCAR race to see a race that's going to take 3 hours. You may see a race that takes 4.5 hours, and you can complain about how long it is.
Right. Can't please everybody. I understand. But I think as far as terms of momentum, excitement, and everything, I wasn't feeling it at Indy. And I was at Watkins Glen this past weekend, and I'm like, I wasn't feeling it then. I just left. I left there. That's the first time I ever left Watkins Glen in the daylight, right? I usually walk out of Watkins Glen and it's dark outside, and I left when it was still daylight. I just felt
that was
like,
a problem?
Well, for me it was because I just felt like I wasn't, because yes, I'm a journalist and I report on the races, but I'm also a race fan, right? Because that's what got me into this sport. And I just left there with more being desired. And JR, to your credit, I listened to SiriusXM NASCAR radio on the way back, traveling back to North Carolina on Sunday night, and a lot of the race fans felt the same way that I do. And they felt like that they were watching a Formula One race. And I feel like that if you get fans that start to watch a Formula One, feel like they're watching a Formula One race, they're going to lose interest quickly. We're losing momentum from the sport. And I would much rather, in my opinion, bring the stage cautions back and stack up the field. And yes, it may drawn out the race by 20 more minutes, but if it's giving the fans and giving the sport some electricity, then I think it's the extra 20 minutes was worth it, in my opinion.
All right, JR, I'll let you pipe in. The one thing I had to counter to Chris is, so you bring back the stage breaks. We've now lengthened the race by running 6 to 8 to 10 caution laps, which is 10% of the race. And that's why we got rid of the stage breaks.
Yeah, very true. Okay, so I was a huge advocate of continuing to race underneath the stage, and I thought maybe this could be good at other racetracks as well. Reward the stage points, award them, but continue to race under the green flag. If you want to pit, you can pit at that position. But I think what we have to take into consideration here is if you have had, and I always caution people, I said, okay, one race does not a rule make, right? If you do a rule and you interpret that rule and put it into place, therefore, you can't judge it from one race, what goes on. You have to try the next race and the next race to make sure that that is really what you're seeing is not just atypical at one race. So what we have seen, though, with these races going so caution-free, I think one thing we have to take into consideration is the stuff doesn't break anymore like it did. The engines don't blow up. The brakes don't give way. When you beat and bang on one another, the carbon fiber bodies bounce back. The sheet metal doesn't get bent. So therefore, you don't have those cautions within it. But I've never been a fan, and I understand when people say let the cautions come out naturally. But then again, guys, let's remember, again, to go back to a stick and ball scenario, you have a halftime in a football game. You have quarter breaks. You have a halftime in a basketball game to reset. And therefore, a little bit of resetting in a race if times have changed, right, guys? If times have changed, restarts are exciting. We all know that, whether it be a road course, short track, intermediate, or super speedway. Restarts are exciting. I'm not saying throw a bunch of cautions and create a bunch of cautions, but I think if you do run caution-free, you're at a position where I just don't think in this day and age, the fan you're trying to watch these things, if it's just cars going in circles and circles and circles, that you're not going to get the drama and the excitement that some of these race fans are after right now, especially some of the younger ones.
And JR, I think that we've made maybe some of these race courses too easy for the drivers, because a lot of the places that we go, especially Watkins Glen, they used to be gravel, right? You get in the gravel, the cars get stuck, and there pops a caution. We don't have that very much anymore.
It's paved.
They paved a lot of the areas at Watkins Glen, so the driver, there's no repercussions for the drivers if they get out of control or run each other over, where there was gravel is now pavement. So I feel like that we've taken some of that element away from the drivers opening up for this. And maybe I feel like it was maybe be careful what you wish for, because when you get it, you might not wish you got it. Right. And so I just feel like that maybe we've made too many changes, in my opinion, that has maybe hurt what we thought was going to be a good thing.
Well, let me ask you this, John. Since COTA, we've gone to these new restart zones. Like at Indianapolis, they backed up the restart zone.
That.
Never have done. Never
because the drivers didn't want chaos going into turn one.
Well,
These are the best drivers in the world.
Yeah, we should never have done that.
Guys?
Like,
deal with it.
Why, JR? Why do we have to change everything?
You shouldn't. And also, though, what I've seen from the sanctioning body of this sport over the years, that has been a really good thing, is that if they institute a change and it doesn't work, they're not afraid to say, hey, look, guys, we're big boys and girls. We're going to say this wasn't right, and we're going to go back to what we did before. Then if you do look at something, and remember, guys, I'm going to throw out double file restarts. That was a great change, and they stuck with it. So I think you have to try things, and that's why I was all for. I certainly understood these huge, long caution breaks, but let me throw this into the equation as well, guys. I think that we mess around. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say we, because I'm not in race control. I feel like there's a little bit of quote-unquote messing around that goes on during a caution. I think that you could have more cautions in a race if they were to open pit road, right? We don't need to wait for lap-down cars right now to go into a second round of pit stops. Send everybody on the lead lap. Most people are on the lead lap anyway.
Wiki yellow.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. That you can work on it from that side as well, and also adjust to the changing times. The cars don't break like they used to break.
John, I just feel like that the drivers complain too much, and NASCAR, I feel like lately has been so concerned about pleasing the drivers and doing what they want that they've actually hurt the on-track product, in my opinion. We should have never changed.
Absolutely.
We should have never changed the restart zone at the Indianapolis. I don't care if it was difficult. It only difficult because they lost their minds on the restart, and they created the drama and the chaos. They could do it. They could do it at the start and at at the beginning of stage 2. But by God, forget if it happens with 2 laps to go and they all lose their minds, right? If they can do it at the beginning of the race, they should be able to do it at the end of the race. But no, because they lose their minds and decide to wreck each other, that they have to change it. Like, I just feel like that we need to go back and, like, not everything, because something doesn't work the way that the drivers want to or the teams want to, doesn't mean it instituted change. And I just feel like that we maybe, and I'm not faulting NASCAR, I'm just saying that I just don't think like that we need to change everything. Like, some things, if it's not, what's that old saying? If it's not
broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And
and also, you got to make sure it's broke in the first place. But also, the competitors are not the ones that are paying for the tickets. They're the ones that are the competitors are signing the back of checks. The fans are signing the front of checks.
The fans, the fans don't want what they saw on Sunday. I'm sorry, I don't think that they do.
And guys, however many people said this before, shut up and race. I hate to really go there because I don't have to drive the car. But then again, I will have to say right now, I kind of agree with shut up and race.
Well, I mean, they get paid.
What would the fan reaction be, though? What will we be hearing this week if Chase Elliott had won?
Nothing.
No, I mean, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That's way overboard now.
Would they be complaining the race was too short?
I think
there would be some complaints.
There would be some complaints.
There'll still be some complaints.
But we deal with this like, yes, if Kyle Busch didn't win we hear this all the time, right? Kyle Busch wins too many Xfinity races. Well, if Chase Elliott won the Xfinity race, nobody. I mean, we're gonna have people that complain, right? It's just reality. It's life, right? Can't please everybody, no matter how hard we try. But there are right. But there are certain things that we can control without getting the backlash, right? And I think that we just need to maybe think about that during the offseason and seeing what we can do. Maybe there are some things that we have to take back that we adjusted at the start of this season in retrospect to build a better on-track product in 2024.